Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jose Barahona with Magaya Corporation, and welcome to our webinar on smart tools from receipt to delivery. Once again, this is the 10.4 Part 2 webinar. If you joined us for Part 1, thank you. It's good to see you once again and allowing us to be part of all the new initiatives that we have going with Magaya. So as always, we want to go ahead and let you know who's presenting. Today's presenters, myself, I'm the General Sales Manager here at Magaya. It's Jose Barahona. And you'll also be hearing from Mr. Christian Lilimets. He is our Product Manager. So our roles here is not just to, give out a great product and send it back, but also be able to get information from you so we can make our products better. So in fact, this release that we're going to show you today is going to be entailing a lot of that customer feedback. So here we go. Let's go ahead and show you what we have prepared for you. Okay, so when we talk about smart tools from receipt to delivery, a lot of our clients are growing, and as they grow, they bring a lot more innovations that they're looking for the software to do. So we wanted to talk about what we call the final mile and what happens when you're going to deliver it. So there's two different ways that we're going to look into it. First thing we're going to look at is a faster receipt in the warehouse. How can we get faster receipts into the warehouse and be able to manage that that workforce that's in the actual warehouse doing these for you, be able to get those trucks out when they make the deliveries to your warehouse. We also want to talk about the express link improvements, and this is direct feedback from the customer, what we like to call customer pull, and how the customer is pulling us and moving in those directions, which is always great. Again, we want to talk about the POD mobile and the new features that we have. And finally, we'll have a question and answer. So when it comes to the POD, we're going to have a new pickup option that you're going to show how it looks on the iPhone, and Chris is going to go a little bit more in depth. I will talk a little bit about the Express Link and the improvements that we have going into the tracking and what your clients will see. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pass on Chris, who's going to explain to us about the faster receipt in the warehouse. Chris?
Thank you, Jose. So this is how we chose to name this whole section, but there are actually going to be a couple of subsections to this receiving portion of today's webinar. Well, actually, first of all, a couple of technical notes. We are going to take questions in the end. So on your right-hand side, on the side panel of the GoToWebinar dashboard, you should see a section for questions. So whenever you have questions, just type them in there so that in the end, during the question and answer section, we will have already a queue of questions. All right. And we're also recording today's webinar, and we'll publish it on our YouTube channel afterwards. So you can always watch again for recap or share with your coworkers or friends that you wanted to be here today, but maybe they didn't make it. All right, so let's get started on the receiving portion of today's webinar, and we have a couple of new features to talk about. So first of all, how barcode scanning can really help you out now in Magaya. We've had barcoding for a while, and just to be clear, I'm not talking about the WMS mobile solution at this point, although it can be used in conjunction. I'm talking about the actual simple 2D barcode, linear barcode scanning that can be used with any cheap barcode scanner device, and I'm actually going to show you one in real life here soon. Okay, and the main the main new feature about the barcode scanning is that it now can recognize external tracking numbers, and by external tracking numbers we mean UPS, FedEx, US Postal Service, any tracking number, any number basically you scan that is not a part number, because the system already recognized part numbers. But if you don't deal with part numbers, you can now scan external tracking numbers. And we have created a completely new workflow for scanning these tracking numbers, which we even created a template for in the pickup order, and I'll show you that later, which is the courier manifest. Again, that would be really useful to quickly receive multiple boxes and capture the tracking numbers on the go with the barcode scanner and really speed up the process. We have added a couple of new models in the QBScan lineup, and I'm actually going to show our one of our QBScan models in action today. And we've created a link between the pickup order and warehouse receipt that works by the above mentioned barcode scanning. So you can actually pull items from pickup orders to warehouse receipts simply by scanning them again now. I will show you that part too. And finally, how we capture images of your cargo has also been upgraded. You can now, with one click or even no clicks, shoot up to 5 simultaneous images of the cargo. So different angles with just one click. All right. So without further ado, let's see how it works. Okay. Oh, let's also do something we haven't done on our webinars before. Show a real life action. This is our warehouse. We apologize that it doesn't look quite warehousey. Let's see if everything is okay. This is me. Hi. And so we're going to scan some boxes and capture some weights and dims and images of the boxes so you can see in real life and in Magaya at the same time. I hope you can manage the GoToWebinar screen to show you my screen through the screen sharing and the webcam next to each other. I think that would be the most impressive way of looking at this, because you'll see what happens as I scan the box in the physical world, what happens in the Magaya system at the same time. Okay, so the first new feature, as I mentioned, is the ability to recognize external tracking numbers and create commodities through scanning them. So here I am going to create a pickup order. I'll just do a very basic one. Say this is the shipper here was my manufacturer Jane, for example. And in the commodities tab, I can just go and use this very basic barcode scanner and the box with an actual tracking number, and it creates an item. Okay. You can pick another one here. This particular scanner is actually quite nice because I can even stand it in an always on mode, so I can create a little conveyor here for myself by just placing the box here. That's pretty impressive. So that was the first part. As you can see, the tracking numbers captured. So I can click OK here. I saved my pickup order, and I can see the new document template that we created for it. And you can see we even named it Courier Manifest for a certain business case or a certain type of operation, and the tracking numbers and the signature and total piece count at the bottom are captured. Now, what is the business case for this? Why this can be good for, well, any kind of customers, not just couriers, is that if you need to quickly receive something and the driver is waiting right there and wants a signature that you actually did receive 126 pieces, it now takes just 126 scans, which is much quicker, and there's no manual typing in of these tracking numbers. We capture the tracking numbers as you scan, and you can get the signature, everything was delivered, and you can then start processing these boxes further. And I will show you how this can integrate with a warehouse receipt for the next step. Okay. Also, just for the record, this does work on the warehouse receipt already, so I could have created a warehouse receipt the same way I just did a pickup order as well, as a one-step process, but as a two-step process, it offers some extra benefit. So let's say these were hundreds of boxes that came in one shipment, but now I might want to split them. I might want to create warehouse receipts per consignee. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do the next step. And those of you familiar with Magaya and the link between pickup order and warehouse receipt know that now you can go to actions and create warehouse receipts, but to link the items on between the pickup orders and warehouse receipts, I'm actually going to do it the new way from scratch. So I'm going to warehouse receipt, clicking add, and let's say some of these boxes here are for my customer John, for example. And I can go to the commodities tab pick up these boxes, scan, which creates the item on the warehouse receipt. But the key here really is that if I now go and look at the history of this item, I see that it's linked to the pickup order. And specifically, if I look at the pickup order, that particular item that I scanned connected through the external tracking number now shows on hand. All right, looks like I clicked somewhere where I didn't want to click. All right. Now let's see how this, so let me create another warehouse receipt. For example, for my other customer, Mary, and let me scan a different box from that same pickup order. And now let's see how something that we have already had for years can be integrated into this, which is this device here, the Cubiscan 100. If I place the item here and scan it with the Cubiscan now, you see that the dimensions and weight of the same item are captured. I can do the next box. Let's remove this here. Let me close this dialog first. I can do the next box. All right, place it here. Okay, so in a conveyor type of setup, you can now really easily do the follow-up work for these items. So you did the quick receipt, you got the trucker, their signature, you have accounted for all these boxes and their tracking numbers, and now you have time to go and capture accurate weights and dims using the Cubiscan if you choose to. Okay, so that is the second piece of new information today. Of course, the Cubiscan solution worked like this, minus connecting the tracking numbers already. It would just create a new item. I can actually show it just by placing a random item here that I haven't previously scanned in just new box. And if I scan it with the Cubiscan, it creates it there. Obviously, this wouldn't have the tracking number, which I can actually now scan and add. It works both ways, but this box actually doesn't have one. So, so this is pretty seamless how it can work together now. Finally, you see I've added some cameras to this Cubiscan setup. So how to capture images in Magaya? Before, it worked by going to the attachments tab and clicking the select device, and you could connect the camera. This already worked, but you would have to take pictures one by one. Okay, so now there's a new button there that says get pictures, and this uses the network cameras that can shoot simultaneously. Okay, so if I want to go and take multiple pictures, up to 5 at the same time, there's a button, or optionally, I can have it connected to the Cubiscan, which I did here, which actually took pictures as the Cubiscan captured the weight and dimensions. So this three-way integration is actually the most advanced one. You can have barcode scanning capture the external tracking numbers, the Cubiscan capture the weight and dimensions, and the network cameras can either, if you don't have the Cubiscan or if you don't wish to use it that way, independently, or if bundled with the Cubiscan, as the Cubiscan scans, capture also the images. Okay, so these three things in 2 clicks. Let's go back to our presentation here, and I think it's fair to stop the webcam now. All right, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed that part. I will now hand it over to Jose for the first piece of our outbound part of today's presentation.
Great. Thanks, Chris. That was really nice. We actually had a chance to see you, not just in pictures. So yeah, very nice. And it's very exciting what we're doing regarding the receipts. I think as clients come up to us and say, my warehouse is growing, my warehouse staff is getting bigger, I would like to grow a little bit more in efficiency. So it's nice to see some of these items be done. So let's talk about point number 2, which is the express link for outbound shipments, and again with FedEx and UPS. The idea behind is not something new, but it's how do we improve what we currently have. When we build something for Magaya, it's not just building it one time and then getting it out of the way and done. We want to go ahead and continue building on that and making it better based on your customer feedback. So point number 1 is improvements from you guys, our customers. So we want to go ahead and make that those 2 improvements. One of the things that we did was the batch shipment as well as individual releases. You're going to see how that's going to work when we start gearing up within the cargo releases. Again, being able to configure a default service type. So for example, if you want everyone to be able to go second day, you'll be able to do that. You'll also be able to configure the notifications, print your labels for FedEx and UPS. And we're going to show that to you as an example. We're going to use a test database. And finally, what your client is going to be able to look at that regarding updates by email, the events in the Magaya system. Now, one of the things that we want to show you regarding those improvements, someone said, hey, if we can get a tracking email from Magaya and we can actually click on the tracking from UPS, can it open in UPS? And those are some of the things that we've had to program. And in fact, it makes it more seamless. It makes it seamless for the client in being able to do that. So again, those are the improvements that we have. Now, ExpressLink is not new, okay? We've had it for a while, but we wanted to go ahead and make sure that we deliver on what you guys are bringing back from the field. So on a tech note, once we start showing you, and Chris will open up the Magaya system and go into the actual system in the cargo release, we are going to be using a test account for the Express Link. Okay, so it may be a little bit slower, so you'll see a couple of clicks and it take a little bit. That's just a test account. We won't get a notification from the UPS. It won't work. It's obviously a test account, so there's not going to send any information, but we will be able to send you the automatic email directly from the Magaya system. So you will have a chance to see that and be able to click on what I mentioned earlier directly from the email or from tracking. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on the benefits. So this is very quick and simple. There's not a whole lot of options that you normally have to pick up on, and we're going to do a batch shipping. Okay, that's the biggest difference. So let's look at the batch shipping. We're looking at a list of our cargo releases. We are going to the actions button. We're selecting here the express link, and we're selecting a batch shipment. Again, we want to go ahead and have all these items preset so you don't have to pick on each individual one and say, well, this one needs to go today, this one needs to go today, this one needs to go today. The system is automatically going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so this is great for recurring shipments. Those of you that are handling those recurring shipments, you'll be able to use this a lot faster. So you can see here we have the actually shipping account, the service type, the date. We're all using this wizard, selecting next. Okay, the system is going to give us a progress of what it's going to be doing, and all the entities and contact details will be pre-verified to speed up the process. Now we're here, look at that has been requested. You can see that actually was successfully sent, and we're looking here. We want to print out the labels of what we're doing. We want to show you one of those labels on the screen so you can see exactly what's going to happen. So we're going to put this on our desktop for you to be able to see that. All right, so here's our first and second label of what we have. And it's really that simple for you to be able to schedule something to be picked up by UPS, in this case, UPS Ground, directly from your Magaya system. There is a setup that has to be done, of course. Right now, we're saying in a best case scenario, we've already done the setup and we're selecting batch shipment. So we're able to do 5, 6, 100, 15. Doesn't matter, it's all in one shot. So let's show you the individual shipment benefits. Now again, in here you are going to get a lot more options. So you have the full detail options offered by the UPS or FedEx. We're still going to have a wizard, but here we're going to have a little bit more detailed. We are going to go in there and be able to query the rates to select which services are available. So in this case here, notice how we're looking for it. We're looking for the rates. We're selecting, obviously, the confirmation, if we need a signature or not, the date that this is going to be delivered. And finally, down there, we actually do have the actually rate. So we're going to select the UPS 2-day air in order to be able to send that. We're just going to click on Save and Next. It's going to give us a basic, summary of everything that we've selected. And we actually can go ahead and print the labels once again. We saw before, we want to go ahead and select the right printer in order to be able to do that. A lot of people say, Jose, I want to be able to query all the rates. This is the best way to do it. Otherwise, you pre-select the rates from the batch shipping. In this case, here's our label for that one piece. Okay? Now, what else happens? Well, it's not just you creating the actual Magaya system and your cargo release that you normally do. We've also added a few columns, and we've added these same columns when your client does the actual tracking. So in this case here, if you want to go ahead and look, we have the actual tracking side here, as well as the service type and the courier status of if it's been requested or not, what's happening. Mind you, these same columns are going to be available for your clients when they go online. So let's pretend that we're one of your clients, and we're going to go online to actually have a look at what they're going to be seeing when you're using this express link. So bear with me one second while we go ahead and get to the Magaya and be able to log in. So let's go ahead and have a look. Here's our cargo releases, and as you can see, we've changed a little bit of the colors to show exactly what we have. So let's have a look. Let's double click on one of those, and you can see how the general information is going to be here. This is the same screen we had shown you earlier in our PowerPoint, where it gives you the actual tracking number for the inland carrier information. We'll go ahead and click on that. That way it takes us and redirects us directly to the UPS website, or in this case FedEx, depending on what you're using. Okay? Now, we can go back and you can set the columns for your client to be able to review. The client doesn't have to double click on the cargo release anymore. He can actually just add the column to be able to see that tracking number directly there. Okay? Now, there are statuses as events in the Magaya system. Okay? We won't be able to show you those. Again, from the test account, we won't be able to show those to you, but we are going to show you that email that will be sent by the Magaya system using the transaction tracking. So here's a link that your client will receive it, and that link they will be able to use on a computer as well as an iPhone or some mobile device for them to be able to receive that tracking. Again, we clicked on it and it goes and redirects us right back to the UPS website, which is the idea for us to being able to do that. Okay? So we've seen how the tracking link works directly from the Magaya system. We've shown you the actual tracking from the Magaya system if you do have the custom live track. And again, those new columns that we went ahead and added. Anything else that you'd like to add, Chris, regarding the transaction track or the express link?
Yes, just you did already mention the status updates. I just wanted to say that they will be in the events tab where you might expect them in the transaction in Magaya. But again, since we're using our UPS test account, this was not a live shipment. We won't receive updates on these shipments from the courier, but you would otherwise have them happen here. And again, as you also mentioned, I just wanted to reiterate that as well, that in addition to the Magaya tracking email, you can easily receive now the built-in tracking emails from the couriers directly.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. So now we're going to move into our next topic, which in reality is the one that I'm extremely happy about, not just because I like it more, but it's one that a lot of people have requested. It's with our POD mobile. Now, most of you are asking yourself, POD is the proof of delivery, okay? We've had used a proof of delivery in the past. It's not something that's necessarily new. It's already been out there. People are using it, which is great, especially those of you who have trucks to go ahead and deliver your cargo. But now we've added a new feature, and this is the one that we're extremely excited, which is the actual pickup side. So Chris is going to show you a few things. He's going to talk about the POD, and all of you will receive a free POD trial to have a look and have a run at our new app for you to be able to try out and let us know. So after 30 days, we're going to ask you for some feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly, and how we can make it better. But all of you who are joining us here today, we all have your names, and we will be offering that POD. And if you do need more than one, do let us know so we can go ahead and activate as many as you need in order to get the full access. So Chris is going to go ahead and get a little technical with us as always, and he's going to show you his phone, but he does want to speak a little bit of the POD and what we're actually doing. So Chris.
Thank you, Jose. So yes, what we've done with our proof of delivery POD app here is we've added pickup orders. So basically, in addition to cargo releases, which is you releasing cargo, you shipping it out to a delivery location, we now can do pickup orders between point A and B. You can send your driver a task saying pick it up there and drop it off there. Okay, so the app itself is free in iTunes and Google Play Store. But yes, there will be a charge for the plugin. But as I mentioned, you get a 30-day free trial of the plugin if you participate in this webinar. Okay, so there are a couple of screenshots here. As you can see, there is a Google Maps integration suggesting the routes. There are ways to use different scanners, so you don't have to always type in the quantities that you're dispatching. You can just scan barcodes on the boxes. We have integration with Bluetooth scanners that they connect to your phone through the Bluetooth. There's a Linea Pro scanner you see in the picture, which acts as a phone case with a built-in scanner, and actually the phone's built-in hardware works as well, so that's pretty exciting. So you can use the phone's camera. All right, and it captures the signature, which your customer then can see in LiveTrack and also in your Magaya system. Okay, and as Jose already mentioned, there is the 30-day free trial. Just ask us. Okay, so I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to first go and let's see if I can make my phone screen appear here, because that would actually be the best way of showing this. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen, and I am going to go to the Apple App Store. I have an iPhone. Sorry for the Android people out there, but I promise it works. You'll have to take my word for it. And I actually did not want to do any setup on this. I'm starting from the download and install of the app just to show you how simple it is. So bear with me here. I found Magaya POD. You can see I'm downloading it. And let's open the app. Okay, and now I would have to know the network ID of the database. Yes, it asks me if I can use the location. Yes, because I want the Google Maps to work. 26218 is my database. Let me connect. Going to log in as my driver, John Smith here. And it does offer you an option to remember the login, so I wouldn't have to do it next time. Okay, and I get to the dashboard screen with my pending tasks. I see John currently has no pending tasks, so let's go and take a look how we can create some. Okay, so I have prepared a pickup order here. Let me view this pickup order. I still have my courier manifest template here. Let's switch to the regular pickup order template. So as we can see, we are picking up from ABCD company and we're delivering to Mr. Rodriguez a box containing a camera. Okay, so now I can just send it as a task. And I don't have to assign it to a specific driver. If I leave the assign to blank here, it would actually show up on all my drivers' screen, basically first come, first served, whoever grabs this first. But I'll just assign it to John for now, and I can add notes here. Okay, so subject, maybe this is a real quick one, so I say ASAP, please. And maybe I know that Mr. Rodriguez has a mean dog, so I'll just write beware of the dog in the notes here, or something like that, whatever I want to write. And so that was my pickup order. And now I also have prepared a cargo release. Let's look at this cargo release. And here it looks like we're delivering a few items to Mr. John in Fort Lauderdale. So let me create a task for this cargo release as well. And let's switch back to my app, and let's see how it looks. Okay, my phone has in the meantime locked itself. All right, there we go. So if I just pull down to refresh, it should now get both of these tasks, which it does. And I can do a couple of things here. If I just tap on it, I'll see additional details. So here I can tap on this pickup order task, and I can see additional details, including, for example, my notes. And if I swipe left on this, I'll be able to hit the accept button, so I can accept the task. Okay. You see there's a map icon in the corner. I can click on the map icon, and it shows the tasks. It shows my current location as the little truck, and it shows the locations of the tasks on Google Maps. Okay, so it shows the P as pickup and D as delivery, those two separate tasks. Now the delivery location of the pickup task will become available once I pick up. So currently I see it here. I can tap and accept it from here as well as I can from the list. Okay, so if I go back on the list and let's accept this one the other way, now I have both of these tasks accepted. I have no pending tasks. And if I go on the second screen, my accepted tasks, I see both of them here, and I can see the map overlay as well. Okay, so I can let's now assume I'm driving to my stop number 1, and again, either from the map or from the list, I can say pick up. All right, so I'm in my first location. I'm picking up this camera. Again, I mentioned the different scanning options. Since I don't have a scanner attached to my phone, I'm just going to click on the little camera icon at the top right and use the phone's built-in, there's my box, built-in camera. There you go, and scanned my camera, 1 of 1. All items have been scanned, okay? And I can get a signature for the pickup. So let's say this was given to me by Kelly, and I can complete the pickup portion of this task. And as you can see, it took me back to the task list, and the task itself has now converted. It has switched to delivery because now I still have the delivery portion of it left. And if I look at the map, it now placed the delivery location there for this app, and it actually recalculated the route as well. It says it's more effective for you, more efficient for you to go and actually drop this off before doing the other task, which was the delivery task. So it recalculates the route. So let's go, let's do this. Let's deliver this camera I just picked up to Mr. Rodriguez. Okay, so I'm going to scan again. I could manually enter the quantities as well, in case the box has no barcodes that the system would recognize. And what it would recognize is for example, a part number, which is how I'm scanning now, or a Magaya tracking number. So if I'm printing shipping labels from Magaya, especially for the delivery tasks, it would recognize that. Okay, and finally I have my last task here. I could switch to the map, so it now shows where to go and do this delivery. So here, for example, I can say I have 20 boxes of this other item, so scanning 20 times is actually not that fast. So if I tap, I get to like a normal quantity screen where I can use the plus minus or just add. So I'm going 20 out of 20 are done, and for the other item I could use the scan. So I have a box of Kleenex here. There you go, and I'll get the signature here. Let's say it was Harry. And completing this task. Okay, so this will conclude the phone part of this demo. Let's go and see how it looks in our Magaya Explorer. Okay, so the cargo release list, let me refresh this. You can see the cargo release status actually changed to delivered now. And in the POD tab, I see that it was received by Harry. If there were any comments that I could have added, and the signature will be displayed in my Magaya system as well. And the same also for the pickup order, which now shows delivered. And I'm seeing Jose's signature here that he received the camera. All right, so let's see if I can also show it in LiveTruck. We already have the LiveTruck open here for John. I believe I just have to refresh these cargo releases here. And there we go. That's my cargo release. So John, again, might have also gotten an automatic email that this was delivered if I had set it up in Magaya like that. And all right, let's see here. Okay, showing the delivery information here. All right. Let's go back to our presentation. That concluded the POD last mile or final mile app that we have created. And just as a recap, what we've shown you today, what we've shown you so far, we showed a way to do the receiving process in a faster and less error-prone way. No typing in tracking numbers anymore. You can just scan them. You can capture up to 5 pictures simultaneously, and you may or may not also use the QB-scan to capture weight and dimensions of your cargo and optionally fire the cameras. Then on the express link part, the first outbound part, we saw how the tracking number and the tracking link generated now shows up everywhere, and how you can simply create a batch shipment for many cargo releases or outgoing shipments at the same time with just a couple of clicks, or how you can send individual shipments if you want to configure more options, and how you can print the labels for either. And then the POD mobile app, we showed you how to create a task and execute the task for either pickup order or cargo release, or them both combined on the mobile app. Okay, and again, we have a 30-day promotion for anyone here today. Just let us know if you want to try the POD mobile. So I'm going to show you before the questions and answers. Which will be the last part. The next slide is questions and answers. I'm going to also give you a little sneak preview of what's in line for the near future from product development, product management perspective. So in the next version, in our 10.5 release, which should be available in a month or so, we will have major document designer improvements. So documents will then be able to have logos in a much more easy and streamlined way. Basically, you upload one logo in your system instead of having to put it as an image in each document, and then the documents can pull it from that central location. So it's much easier for you to add your company logos to documents. And finally, we've added multi-page as a design feature. So you can now have a second page or last page of your document, for example, with the terms and conditions, which we didn't have before. And we know that it has been a very requested feature. So that'll be available in version 10.5. Now, talking more about warehousing, we have another QB-scan model, which is a very powerful one, a large one that can scan whole pallets, QB-scan 1200, available to integrate to in 10.5 and forward. And finally, we have a completely new model coming up for scanning your dimensions and weight. So we have received feedback from customers that QB-scan and other dimensional scanners can have quite a barrier of entry in terms of just hardware costs. They can cost a lot, and it doesn't offer that value for you. You'd rather capture weights and dims manually. And so we've been thinking about how we can reduce that barrier of entry for our customers, and we're already testing a solution with different kind of hardware. And as a business model, we would own it, so you wouldn't have to purchase it. And what we would need from you would be a small setup fee and a per transaction fee for using that equipment and the integration to your Magaya system. So we would set it up for you. It would be on your premises. It's not the QB-Scan, it would be a different hardware. And what it would do is capture weight, dimensions, and take photos, similarly to what you saw today. And it would be for a per transaction fee, which would be very cheap compared to buying all the hardware upfront, which it can get to obviously thousands with the QB-Scan and the cameras here. Okay, so and we wanted to ask your feedback if you would if this is something that sounds potentially interesting to use that kind of a solution. And for that, we've actually created a poll here also to get some input, do something interactive. You've been watching here. Now you get to actually pick options. Let's see if everyone can see it popping up on their screen. So it should be, if you don't, it should be again on the control panel part of the GoToWebinar on your right-hand side. So there should be a poll asking, would you be interested in a weight, dimensions, and image capture solution with no hardware cost at a per transaction fee? Okay, and the options are yes, please contact me, because we see who answers what, so we can contact you. No, I prefer owning my hardware. And again, maybe over the long run, that might be the more economical solution, but it requires a big upfront cost. So we will have both solutions still available. It's just we know that the barrier of entry is a big factor for many customers. And finally, we can say no, I don't see value in capturing weight, dimensions, and pictures of my cargo automatically into my Magaya system. That is absolutely possible as well. So those three options. And we see a few of you haven't voted yet. I'm going to keep it open for a couple of more seconds. So it should be on your right-hand side. If it didn't pop up on the screen, on the right-hand side of the GoToWebinar control panel, you should see a poll icon blinking somehow available to click. All right, the poll is in progress. I see that more than half of you have already voted, so I'm going to go ahead and close this poll in just a few seconds here, and I can actually see live progress as well. I see that more than half of those who have voted are actually saying yes, that this is something that I might be interested in so far. So it's good that we're at least not completely wrong in our hunch that this might be something useful. All right, so I'm going to close the poll here in a couple of seconds, and I can share the results. There you go. We have about 60% interested, and we have about 13% of those who answered also saying that I'm interested in capturing this data, but I prefer owning the hardware, which again, it's good because we will have both of the solutions still available. All right, so finally, let's go back to our presentation, to the final slide, which is type in your questions, and we will try to answer them the best we can. Again, the questions part has been available this whole webinar on the right-hand side on the control panel, and I have a few here already. Okay, so I can get started with the ones that we're already seeing. Okay, so we have the question about QB-Scan here from Luis. Can I use it in 2 computers? Yes, the setup is extremely simple. You connect it through an IP address that basically the 2 computers will have to be on the same network as the QB-Scan. Works over wireless as well. But one device can be used on 2 computers. You can because it's basically you hit the scan button and it scans it into the active Magaya warehouse receipt. So yes, you can use one QB-Scan with 2 computers, or 2 QB-Scans with 1 computer. Well, actually, no, that you can't. All right, so yes, the answer is yes. Okay. Question: is it possible to provide a quick overview of the presentation? Someone who could only join us in the later stages. The good news is that we will have this whole recording available on our YouTube channel, which is actually have it open. Magaya Software in YouTube. As you can see, our previous webinar recording from 3 weeks ago is here. It has gotten 101 views already. We're not quite internet famous yet, but we're getting there. And there are options here, for example, to see some of our larger QBScan integrations at work in a real warehouse situation here. So yes, the whole thing will be available on our YouTube channel shortly. Question: does QBScan work if you have Magaya on the cloud? Yes, I want to say yes, but I will get back to Adriana, who asked that with technical details, because I personally have only tested it on a local integration, but I know that it will have to work over cloud as well. Maybe the setup will take a couple of more steps. All right. Need more info, but I would appreciate the info in Spanish. Okay, we have absolutely many of our customers are native Spanish speakers. I'm actually learning Spanish myself currently, but I will not try to answer your questions yet. And we have both our knowledge base, our website as of recently available in Spanish, but more importantly, all our technical support specialists and our sales reps speak Spanish as well. So Luis, your sales rep will be able to provide more information, or our tech support will, and we can also find materials in Spanish. And another question: if this and the previous webinar are 100% related to 10.4? Yes, everything you've seen me demonstrate here and on the previous webinar is using the Magaya 10.4 version. The last slide, so everything you just heard me talk about here is coming up in the future. So the multi-page document design with logos is in 10.5. So is the QBScan integration with the 1200 model, and with the hardware, basically, let's say no hardware costs model, the per transaction model of receiving and scanning your items. That we don't have a version number yet, but we're currently testing it. So everything except for this slide is already available in our current release version 10.4. Okay, actually I received a correction here from our marketing department. The website isn't in Spanish yet. I've already seen it, but we're testing it. But our main website will also be fully available in Spanish shortly. So how much does the per transaction fee scale system cost, or do you have a rough idea of the cost? Now this is something that I honestly don't know. We're testing it still on the technical side. Maybe Jose wants to chime in here.
Sure, great question. Right now, we're really looking at the technical side, and we're asking our clients if it's something that they'll be willing to use. One of the things with Magaya, and one of the questions that I get a lot in sales is, Jose, why don't you develop X, Y, or Z? Well, because our clients won't use it. The idea for us is to develop something that our clients will be able to use. So there is no ballpark figure right now. We are in the technical side. We're getting more information. We are testing some hardware. We do want to know where our clients stand. The last thing we want is to develop something that our clients won't use. So at this moment, unfortunately, we don't have any numbers to be able to provide for you. You're still in the technical side and waiting for customer feedback. Okay?
All right, thanks, Jose. And I see a question from Adriana as well about the QBScan 1200, which is the huge model they have for scanning multiple pallets at the same time. That is, I know that it's quite costly, but I don't know the exact dollar figure. We're definitely talking 5 digits. The QBScan 100 that I showed today, that is, I believe, their their cheapest model, I think, and for the smallest packages, and that is it's definitely 4 digits. I would say it's between $4,000 and $6,000 as far as I know, but don't quote me on that. And there's a question from Joe about the per transaction for capturing weight, stims, and photos. Will this require a QBScan investment? The answer is no. This it will be using a different hardware partner, and Magaya will actually own the hardware and will set it up for a small setup fee, and there will be no hardware cost. It's only per transaction cost with a small setup fee. And so it would not be using a QBScan. Again, both of these options, either of these options might be good for you, depending on what you prefer. I understand a lot depends on the pricing. That's why we're right now trying to see who would be interested, so we can have conversations and we can, develop the right model. But at the same time, in the background, we're already doing technical testing, and the solution looks beautiful. Yes, currently there are no specifics on the pricing yet for the per transaction model. All right. Are there any more questions? Looks like we're done with the questions as well. And thank you, everyone. Once again, if you have anything else that you'd like to contact us about, there's our phone number here, or you can just contact us directly from the page 1 of your software, or go to magaya.com, or contact your sales rep. This is all from me. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you once again for spending the afternoon with us. I hope it was something that you guys can use. Again, everyone who joined us will be able to get that free POD. We're going to send you a couple links. You're going to get some follow-up emails also. Feel free to reach out to us. Any questions, we're here standing by. Thank you for spending the day with us, the afternoon, and stay tuned for a future webinar on what we're going to be having soon with 10.5 coming up right around the corner. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.